I think we are starting to see the first signs of the market capitulating. Welcome back to Final Trade. I'm going to talk today about a couple of products here and what capitulation looks like in the TCG market compared to the stock market. So, in the stock market, capitulation is when weak handed investors get so upset by their losses that they decide to protect what they have left, as they'll say, and sell in order to lock in their losses. And of course, it's a really good way to lose a lot of money because most of the time the market rebounds. On a long timeline, the markets go up. And especially if you're invested in reasonable, safe kind of assets, broad based ETFs, good quality companies with long histories, things like that, not a lot of speculative junk, then odds are that those stocks that are down will come back. And we've been seeing a lot of this recently. The S&P 500 is down close to 20% or so over the last 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And people will start to panic at some point. They'll see that their 401k has gone down by 20%. They'll think, well, it must be an irreversible decline. It's all going to zero, and I better sell now so that I don't experience the rest of the loss. And that looks quite a bit different than what the TCG market looks like when it's going to capitulate, because you have to remember that most of the sellers in the TCG market are card stores, and they have a fundamentally different business outlook and business activity than, say, stock investors or even TCG investors. TCG investors, one of the problems with it is the illiquidity of the product. It's difficult to sell and to get rid of and to turn into cash. But if you're a card store, you have established avenues and a lot of experience already turning product into cash. And so it's much easier for a card store to capitulate. But capitulation isn't always so desperate a thing for a card store in the TCG market as it will be for investors in the stock market, especially those weak-handed investors. So it may just be that a owner of a card store looks around at what's going on and he says, I don't think this is going to catch any wind under it for a while. It's basically dead money for some amount of time that they estimate based on their experiences. And they decide, I'll just go ahead and sell it at a loss, get it off the books, and take that money, reinvest it in something else that I think will go up sooner. And so I think Adventures in the Forgotten Realms collector boxes are a good example of that. $140.99. And you can see from the chart there, let's pull up the 1 year. You can see that for a long time, these have set between about this 185, 165, and in that $20 range. And now all of a sudden they've dropped another $25. Now, did anything materially change about this product? No. Still only one print run done summer of 2021 before the set was released. Still, it's out of print now. If anything, the underlying set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, going out of print, should be bullish for these boxes, because it means that the ability to get most of the singles that are in this box is now foreclosed. All of those singles that will ever exist now. And to some extent, the underlying set still being in print, that can hold down the prices of these collector boxes, because if someone says, I just want the singles, well, where can the singles come from? Some of them, yes, are unique to collector boxes, but most of the singles you can get in collector boxes also come out of set and or draft boxes. So going out of print should make these boxes go up in price. But what we're seeing here is the market is saying, well, for no apparent reason, we're going to dump $25 off of this. And look, it's quite a few sellers. I mean, there's a lot of sellers here who have adjusted a lot of inventory down. So this is not one seller just saying, I'm panicking or I'm unloading this position for some certain reason. It's a lot of sellers who are saying, now's the time to get out of this, just lower the prices and let's get our capital back. So this is, I think, a sign of capitulation. It's the market somewhat irrationally saying, let's just get out of this now. Now, always remember, as an investor, like I said a few minutes ago, as a TCG investor, you have a fundamentally different business strategy than a card store. Card stores need to turn inventory and make 10, 20, 30, 40% profit every time they turn some inventory. Investors are looking to buy inventory, sit on it for years, and then sell it for a profit later. And so the card store may be thinking the same thing that we're thinking. This is a good set, it's a good product, it has limited supply, it's out of print, and 2, 3, 4 years from now, this will be a $200, $300, I don't know, maybe $350 box. But they don't want to wait around for that because their business model is turning product. So it's a situation where capitulation by the card stores, who are the main drivers of the TCG market, can really be beneficial to investors because now we have the opportunity to pick these up at a price we haven't seen before. What's another product on here that I pulled up? Monarch first edition boxes. You know I love these. 125,000 is not a large print run. And in fact, when LSS originally announced that back around April, it had been hovering somewhere around 155 before then, and it went up to about 165. And now it's just steadily crashed down here. And something else that can cause this kind of capitulation is holders of the product deciding that it's time to just get it off the books. They're tired of waiting for the move up. Not necessarily that they may or may not think that it will ever move up, but they're just tired of waiting for now. And so they'll just go ahead and unload it. And I think that's what's happening here. You know, this only caught an extra $10 of price appreciation when LSS released the numbers. And I think that movement just wasn't enough for a lot of card stores that were still sitting on cases of this, and they've decided to unload it now. And especially in the macro environment that we're in, we have war going on. The U.S. economy is probably in recession. Gas prices are getting close to $5 national average. The world economy, as an average, is suspected that it'll go into recession this year. And so that's the average for the entire world, even though there will be places that have good economic prosperity this year. On average, the whole world will be in recession. And so that, with commodity inflation and everything else going on, there's a lot of negative sentiment towards markets right now. And so especially if you're a card store that is in an industry where stores are historically undercapitalized and riding on the razor edge of solvency, then you may look at this situation and say, I can't wait. I've got to unload these boxes and collect some kind of money so that I can keep the business moving forward in the months to come. Now, I've only selected 2 of these to talk about today. Of course, I'll have Friday sealed deals posted tomorrow. I'll have many more of these. But I think these are kind of signs of the first bits of capitulation that we're likely to see throughout this summer and into the fall. I don't think the market's going to bottom soon. I think there's so many other macro headwinds in the wider economy and markets that this is going to follow them for 3, 6, 9 months maybe. It's hard to say, but I think there will be a lot of good deals going forward. There will be a lot of products that stores are going to fire sale. And remember, it's really the stores that direct the what happens in the TCG marketplace because they're moving the majority of the volume. So the stores are going to start getting desperate more and more. Inflation is nagging, and people just don't have the kind of extra money to spend on stuff like this that they did maybe a year, 2 years ago, certainly 3 years ago. So expect this kind of stuff to continue. And, you know, there's one other thing I want to talk about, which is price driving sentiment. And I talk about this a lot. And what it means is that you cannot look at the price of an asset and allow the current price to dictate to you how you feel about the asset. And that's why I chose these 2 particularly, AFR collector boxes and Monarch First Edition, because these are both great products. They're both going to appreciate really well in the future. The Monarch print run, like I keep saying, 125,000 isn't squat. And in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, both of these products will be at much higher prices, and you will be very happy that you bought them, even at prices higher than what they're at today. But don't let the current price change that for you. And people do this a lot in the stock market. They'll see that some stock has lost a lot of value, and they'll, for some reason, they'll think, well, it must mean the company is terrible, it has no future, it's a dumpster fire going to zero. And the reality is that's very rarely the case. So keep that in mind here. Think about the potential future of the product, and remember the videos I've done recently where I've gone back, I've looked at old Pokemon, I've looked at 2020 Magic and Pokemon. Just about every product does really well in the long term. There are very few losers. And so these two products, even though they're beaten down in price right now, I believe due to capitulation, not due to being bad products, both of these will do great in the long run. And I'm going to show you another example here just to drive that point home. Good old Chilling Reign booster boxes. Do you guys remember October, maybe it was September of 2021, Pokemon USA dumped 6 expansions worth of reprints onto the distribution network at once and absolutely crashed the price of a lot of these products? What happened to Chilling Reign? $80. And it was available on eBay at $80 to $83 for many, many months, even though on TCG Player it moved back up to the $90 range. But I bought an extra case of this on eBay and paid, I believe, about $83. And so, at the time, people could have screeched that, hey, it's $80, it's worthless, it's going to zero, it's a garbage fire, it's a terrible set. But today, people are paying over $100 for this box once you factor in the taxes that most of you guys are going to be paying for it. So time changes things. Time tightens the supply. Time changes outlook. Time brings new people into and out of the market. Time allows the products to change hands. And time ultimately changes how the market looks at these things. And always remember that on the short timeline, markets are a voting machine, and on the long timeline, they're a weighing machine. So in the short term, people can screech about it's overprinted, it'll always be worthless, Chilling Reign will never catch a bid, and this $80 is the new ceiling, it's only down from here. The reality on the long timeline is the market judges closer to correct, and now the reality is setting in that, hey, there's only going to be so much of this product in the long run, and it's worth more than $80. Right now, the market says it's worth a little over $100 once you factor in taxes. So don't allow the price of these products to drive your sentiment towards them. And remember, my theory here is that this is the beginning signs of capitulation in the market, and that we're going to see much more of this going forward into the summer and into the fall. Now, what to do to be ready for this, to take advantage of this? Don't go crazy. Don't go finishing this video and go out and buy a case of these. If you want to add to your position in either of these products, go out and buy one today. Be disciplined. Don't spend all your money immediately, because there are probably more deals like this coming in the coming months on a lot more products that are out there. So again, I'll have more of them tomorrow on Friday sealed deals. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.